Hey, I'm Ben Silverio.
And I am Matt Donato.
And I'm Ansel Birch.
And it's
Time to party.
We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Today's episode was recorded on March 20th, 2025.
Yay. I was trying to think of a song to sing, and I'm looking at my Orange Cassidy action figure, and I can't think of his theme music now, for whatever reason. I don't know.
Jane. What? It's Jane.
Yeah, I know, but let's just hum it, Matt. How does it go? See, this is more fun when I'm not the one trying to hum a song.
Oh, when you're listening, you just make you make your guests come on,
tricking him into doing it. Okay.
Yes, party people. See, we already got the party started. Look at that. Welcome to Time to Party. This month, we are talking about the amazing Japanese film from 2023, River. And to talk about it, we have the incredible Matt Donato with us.
Woo. Thank you very much. I am excited to actually get into the critique here because I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, my favorite part about showing people River is hearing what they think about it, because I know what I think about it. I've seen it so many times, but the first reaction is always the best from people.
Part of what makes it so good about having Matt here to talk with us about this movie is that he's kind of an expert on it.
I like to think so.
Arguably one of the nation's top experts on the topic.
One of the nation's top experts on the movies no one heard of. That is put it on my tombstone.
Hey, nobody has to know that.
That is mine.
But yes, if you wanted to watch River, you can watch it on Prime Video, but you can also pick up the physical media release where you will find Mr. Matt Donato speaking on the movie. I mean, not on the movie, but
well, technically, no. I am speaking over the movie.
I guess that's true.
I think on and over works. Yeah. Just for those who don't know, myself and fellow film critic Robert Hunter, we did a little film commentary for River. I think there is a second commentary, so we're not the only ones. I did look at Brad, who owns TerraVision, very jokingly, and I was like, "You want two white dudes to do the film commentary for River?" And he said, "Don't worry, you're not the only commentary." And I was like, "Good, okay, I'm making sure."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, we're okay.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, here's what our friends at IMDb say about River. On a calm winter's day, a mountain inn becomes trapped in a time loop. Yeah, that sounds like a comedy.
Oh, that was the whole thing. Oh,
that was the whole thing.
That's it.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
And funny story, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't even have a synopsis.
Oh.
Yeah. So, we usually do 2 synopses throughout the month for our movies. I had to go to the actual production company to get the other synopsis.
To get the first one, yeah.
Yeah, wow. So, you'll hear that on our 3rd episode. But before we get there, because I know how much everyone loves edutainment, we have our review of River, which directed by the amazing Junta Yamaguchi, written by Makoto Ueda. You may remember those names from an earlier episode of Time to Party where we covered Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. I believe River is meant to be a sequel. Is that right, Matt?
I don't believe it's meant to be a sequel. I think it is definitely playing off of Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. It is the way that I interpret it is Yamaguchi made Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, and that was a spectacular little time loop. But he was playing with time loops in a scale that was smaller, and I think getting used to it. So my read on it is that River is him going back to do another time loop movie, but going, all right, that was my test. Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes went well. I'm going to take everything I learned from there and let's go bigger, badder, and do that way. So I don't think it's an exact sequel. It's cool if it is. I might have missed that detail.
More of a spiritual sequel, really.
Yes, spiritual is like successor, even, I would say. Like one of those just sibling watches.
Yeah, they would make a great double feature, especially since they're both pretty short. We love a short movie.
God, today's day and age, absolutely.
Oh my God, how does Christopher Nolan keep getting away with it? With these epic 8-hour-long movies?
Because he goes forwards and then he goes backwards.
That's true. That's his secret.
That's the trick.
He discovered the TV remote.
At least when Yamaguchi does it, he's respectful of your time. which we love here at Time to Party. So, since this is a smaller movie compared to some of the much larger, more classic movies that we cover here, Matt, why don't we talk a little bit about how you found this movie first?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a premiere at Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal. It was about 2 years ago at this point. I
Okay.
think it might have been 2022 where I saw it in Fantasia, and then it came out in 2023 for Terrorvision. If I'm remembering time correctly, it might be a year later. Time doesn't matter anymore. The world's
Sure.
on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I go to Fantasia. I headed to Montreal, and Fantasia does a fantastic job of bringing Asian cinema in. They do a lot of not only Japanese but Korean and Chinese films. There are movies I've seen at Fantasia over a decade ago at this point that still haven't been released because it's just one of those, you're never going to get it, the rights, whatever that means. Like the rights are never going to get into American soil. It's what it is. So River, it's there. I liked Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. I made sure to make time to see this one. And it was me and Rob Hunter, who I mentioned previously. We're sitting next to each other, and we were like in hysterics the whole time. It played so well in a crowd. Everyone was in the right mood for it. It was my favorite film of the festival, and then when it actually got released the next year, easily my favorite film of that year.
Wow.
Top 3, let's say, up there. And it's a testament to these like little international films that it's hard enough for tiny independent films that are American to break through here. So the fact that you're gonna now ask people to read subtitles while you're watching a movie, like that was never gonna work.
Yep.
So the pathway for that was Fantasia. I think it played a few other festivals. It makes its buzz obviously there. Then it doesn't really get a release here. It just kind of goes by the wayside, does its stuff overseas. And as I previously mentioned, Mr. Brad Henderson, who runs Terrorvision as of now, he started a side label called Graveface, where he just wants to release any movie. Like Terrorvision's horror movies, Graveface is, I saw this, no one's putting it out, I'm going to put it out. So he went out there, he got the rights for River, and lo and behold, now we have the physical Blu-ray for it. But even then, like, it was a boutique label that had to do it. It's not one of the big ones, and that's not a knock on Brad by any means. Like, he knows the size of his company, and the fact that he is out there fighting for films like River just to be seen is again a testament to him and what he does in the community. So yeah, a long little journey for River, but it finally got out there, and it's just still struggling to be seen.
Our industry really needs more people like Brad fighting
100%.
for these movies,
Yeah.
like
it's rarefied air he's breathing.
Yeah, like Matt, I go to film festivals throughout the year as well, and I see so many that are just like, man, this should be a thing. And then it totally isn't ever again, which sucks because there's such, independent film has such grit and such heart, that the general public needs to see more of, but for whatever reason they never do, or they don't in the theater. They just wait till it hits streaming and they're just like, oh, this looks funny.
Yeah, but then it's if they find it on streaming, because that's
if
the
at
other
all.
part of it. Like
That, yeah, that's really the trick is, now you can watch any movie ever, but you have to hear about it.
But I'm so glad that Matt brought this movie to my attention because, I also liked Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes so much. So to see this filmmaker continuing to make excellent work is awesome. But, I feel like time loops really lend themselves to comedy. Like when it comes to time travel media, I think time loops tend to be the funniest mechanic, right? So how would you two compare River to other movies with the mechanic like Palm Springs or Groundhog Day? I know it's hard because of the scale, but like,
I actually don't think it's that hard.
oh, really?
I'll let Matt go first, but yeah,
sure, I'll dive into it. I mean, to me, the comparison is what you do with the time loop outside of the loop itself. Like, what are you playing? What sandbox are you playing in? Palm Springs is a wedding. Groundhog Day is Groundhog Day. But I like the way that River is a workplace comedy.
Yes.
Like front to back. It's not even caring about the time loop in a weird obsessive way. The time loop is just an obstacle for all these people to do their jobs.
Yeah.
So not only are they like, they're not really stressing the time loop the entire time, let's say, but talking about like the mechanics of it, the time loop doesn't really turn people into monsters or anything. It doesn't really have a negative effect. These people just go about their day, And I think that's also a testament to like Japanese cinema and the way that American cinema works too,
Mhm.
because the American version of this movie is so much different. Like there's more
Oh, yeah.
drama,
God, yeah.
there's more bullshit, and it has to have like a darkness to it, because I feel like a lot of the time loop movies do that, where we're right back talking about Japanese cinema, and it's allowed just to be like effervescent and airy and fun.
Yes.
And it doesn't care. Like it doesn't care about being anything else. It's exactly what that is the whole time. So I mean, again, in comparison, I think it really is a Japanese versus American cinema. But talking about the comedy specifically, it's very cultural. It's very
Mhm.
attuned to the Japanese workforce and that kind of work culture, and the idea that they would still care more about their jobs than being stuck in an infinite 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
I think that's where that comes in.
Oh fuck! the guests are going to be so inconvenienced.
Oh my God, yes. They're like, don't worry, we'll do extra stuff for them. They'll be fine. Just give them more booze. But you're totally right. Like Japanese cinema, I feel like allows their stories to be sillier than American movies. Like it's just, sure, Groundhog Day is silly, but like River kind of takes it to a whole other level. In fact, there's even a point where it's just like they're like, oh yeah, crazy things are happening, but we're coping. It's just like a minor inconvenience throughout the day, because like the rules of River is that they retain their memories of what happened in the previous loops. So it's like they just have to keep dealing with these slight setbacks of going back to their initial start points and all that stuff. But I also think it's funny that the one who's most skeptical initially is the writer.
Yeah.
The writer character is so beautiful. The idea that he's stuck in a time loop and his reaction is no fear. He's just like, I don't have a deadline. Oh my God. And he just stops working. I think all the characters to me have their quirks that I really, really enjoy. But I mean, the writer's my favorite again, because the very introduction of this character, the publisher's talking to him. He's like, can you please just write? Can you please just do something? And he's like, well, I'm stuck because the woman's dead. And the publisher's like, you did that. You killed the woman. Just go back. Just erase that. And he's like, no, I can't do that. She's dead, but I just don't know what to do anymore. And it's the basis of that character starting there is so much funnier for everything that happens later.
Oh, yes.
Did you guys think at the very beginning that was going to be what did it? Like for a minute there, I thought he was a meta character. Like he was writing the movie that we were about to watch.
Oh, like a Ruby Sparks Stranger Than Fiction situation. Oh, that's interesting. That would have been a very different movie.
That's
very
a fun
different
thought.
film. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if he's doing it, then the narrative focus is him trying to keep everyone in the time loop, and that does become more sinister. That becomes a little more. I have control over you.
That's the American version of the movie.
That's there.
Kind of.
Yep. That's how we would do it.
But instead, we get this really sweet romance. Really,
so lovely. I love especially that we get that sweet romance in this beautiful, like truly heartfelt narrative all the way up to the like turn. And then there's this hard turn in the third act and everything just goes complete Looney Tunes. What a beautiful choice. Like if you stopped the movie after that point where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna wish so hard for the river the river to start time back up, and like they all admit that they also wished for time to stop, and like there's beautiful like, oh yes, and then it's just, oh no, it's a time traveler stuck up the road. Such a lovely turn.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I didn't know how far we want to get into it yet or stuff like that, but
spoilers away. Yeah. Let's
cool. Okay, yeah. So it feels like a Legends of Tomorrow episode almost in like a lot of ways. The minute, because you're in it not knowing what it is, like, which is a weird thing to say. Like, you are in the moment having no idea what's happening, and that is because the characters are doing such a good job of going about their day and doing ordinary things and not being extravagant. And it is an understated time loop thriller until it's about a time traveler who like is on time patrol and their time machine broke down. It's such a funny, hilarious way to end things, because it just gets even goofier. It's a goofy movie already. It's silly. It's up there. Like, but it also, like, talking about the beauty of that romance, like, Kibune itself is a gorgeous, awe-striking location, and you are getting to stay there with these characters. And I think that really does influence a lot of the film's tone, because it's sunny, it's snowy, it's all these things. And the natural wonder of where they are, it just wouldn't support anything else. So I think it's a really smart directorial choice and writing choice to select that place for a location and use that to be like, yeah, there's a time loop happening, but like, is it really that bad if you're in Commute?
Yeah, right. It helps that the location is like magical in itself. You know, just looking around, it does feel like someplace that would be magical. I mean, the shrine right up those stairs and everything just looking gorgeous. But you know, I mean, you both nailed it. It starts out as a fantasy, really, and then it drifts into a sci-fi. And in my review on Letterboxd, I said the story moves at such a brisk pace that there's no time to ask questions, and you just accept it, you know, and like it's fine. Like I don't question it at all. I'm like, oh yeah, time traveler. Okay, how are they going to fix this? It's just like
it's so in tone that you're like, oh yeah, okay, that sure. Why wouldn't that be?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's such a thing of like, oh, we just have to fix this and we go back to normal again. There's no like this. It's weird to say that there's no stakes in this movie because I never feel danger by any means. I never feel anything like that. But it also doesn't hurt the film by any means. I actually think it helps it because there is no ticking clock. There is no, whatever you want to say, impending doom. These are people that are just going about a time loop, and we don't see that enough. I feel like there's always some kind of, we only have 3 more jumps and then we die, or you know, there's a killer, like we're looking at Happy Death Day, stuff like that. There's something there that is dangerous, and that's what restarts things. Like you die and you restart. No, this is literally, you're just working and you just have to do your job again, and you just get a little annoyed, maybe, I don't know.
And we let them solve problems as we go, which I that was a particularly masterful stroke, because I did keep expecting these like, oh, that's the problem you have to deal with. Oh no, next revolution, got it figured out. Oh, the guy's gonna shoot himself. He's gonna shoot himself. I'll just call him. I've got his number. Fixed. There
are 2 moments in particular where I don't want to say I felt danger, but I did feel concern. Like the first one is when Chino is about to narc on Mikoto. I'm like, why are you going to do that? Messed up, bro. But you know, she's under a whole lot of stress. I kind of get it. Like she wasn't that well held together to begin with. So,
oh my God.
Chino was incredibly high strung.
Yeah, I mean, like, Chino's the one who, when they found out it's a time loop, was more worried about the hot sake being there and being like, how do I get it to the people? They need the sake. It's like, you're in a time loop. And she's like, yeah, but like, I gotta do my job.
Do you know how much time I've spent warming this fucking sake?
Sorry, it's just,
and then it goes right back. I love and that is
when she apologizes. Yes.
Oh, exactly. She's apologizing to the patrons, and the patrons are kind of like, oh, we love that. So I think those 2 guys, so just to set the stage for people listening, I think actually I want to go back a little farther, because it's not just that the patrons are going about their day. It's that every patron is in a unique scenario when the time loop starts. Like, there are 2 friends who are eating a hot pot. So every time it resets, their rice refills, and they're like, we can't stop eating rice. And like, funny, cute, adorable. There's the writer who cannot, every time he writes, it disappears. So he just gives up on writing, and he goes, I'm going to have fucking party. Like, I'm going to go do my thing. And partying to him is just like poking holes in the wall and just doing minimal mischief.
Intrusive thoughts.
Throwing his shit out the window.
Right. He's like a toddler, basically. We also have the guy in the hot bath, I guess let's call it. So this poor guy, every time it restarts, he's just naked, being like, what is happening? And I think,
honestly, if I were in that guy's position, I feel like I'd have stayed there. Like, oh, okay.
Well, I'm just hanging out.
I get he's got a deadline. He's trying to get his writer to go, but still, like.
But yeah, so then we have a guy taking a chef protege taking a nap. The other chefs across the street figuring out their lives. One goes crazy and starts killing people. Whatever, it's like a thing.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so I love the idea
off camera too.
Right, you don't see anything.
Barely addressed it.
But yeah, so I love the idea that River it is a unique starting point every time, in that it's the same thing, but it's also a silly. I'm going to keep using that word. Is a silly scenario, no matter which way you look, and it's like a choose your own adventure for the people working at the resort. They have to figure out, okay, who do we help first? How do we help them? How do we get them to understand? And once again, them explaining what is happening to the 2 diners, let's say.
Yes.
Mikoto and Chino are trying to be like, okay, we're in a time loop. And they're like, oh, so the rice just keeps refilling, but like, won't I get hungry? And they're like, no, like, time itself is looping. And they're like, yeah, but I'm going to get sick of the rice. And they're like, you're not understanding this. Like, time is looping. And the guys are just like, yeah, but the rice.
But the rice, though.
When one of the chefs asks, what happens if I have to take a shit during the time loop? Does it just go back up my ass?
I laugh every time.
It's so good.
On my rewatch this time, I paused it on both the screens to get both dialogue, and I finally posted it because I'm like, if you haven't seen River yet, just like, what are you doing? This movie's perfect.
It's so good. He says it, and I'm just like, that is a very good point. What is the answer?
What a reasonable question. Yeah.
And then it restarts too. I love it because he says it right at the end of a restart.
Yes.
So he delivers that line, and it just like goes back to the beginning, and everyone is just like, we're not going to acknowledge that. I don't know. Let's just go about our day.
We're gonna move on. I also love that from that point forward that guy just needs a shit the whole rest of the movie.
The whole movie. He has to so bad, and it's
that guy has been wanting to take a dump.
God. And, I mean, that's kind of the beginning of the second instance of where I got concerned because, like, in the third act, it gets real dark in one of those loops where the chef gets stabbed, where the taxi crashes, where the writer jumps out the window. Like, it just gets super dark for that one loop, and then it goes back to being kind of silly again. And then you have the hunter who shoots himself, but then it's just like, no, don't worry. I'll call him next time.
Yeah.
It's just like they're not even sweating it anymore,
I also really enjoyed that the writer, in the following loop after he jumped out the window, he says, no, that really hurt. I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm good. That was it. I'm fine. I don't need to.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah, like I found out what death is now. I don't want to do that again. It's bad. I'd rather not. But I think like Ben, that's a really good point. I love pointing out the dark turn it does take, but it doesn't stay there. Because again, the other movies would get caught in that. Once you take the dark turn, you have to keep going down that path, and that's the way like a third act would go. But another benefit to me of like Japanese cinema is the ability to just basically weave in and out of tones like that, and to be able to deliver something so bleak and so absolutely destructive, and then go back to a next scene and they just pivot right out of it. It's commonplace. They're able to share all of their emotions at the same time, where I feel like American cinema takes its time doing stuff like that. Like if something dark happens, we have to stay there. If this happens, we have to stay there. Where
got to resolve it, and
exactly. And the freedom of Japanese cinema is just more expressive. It experiences everything at once, and it lets its characters experience everything at once, because that's reality. Like that's way more believable than the Hollywoodized versions of how people deal with emotions. And I think River's a great one because we can laugh at the fact these workers are focused on their job. At the end of the day, like if you were stuck in a time loop, like what would you do? Would you panic the whole time? Would you focus on work the whole time? It's a funny way to look at it from the perspective of, if this shit really happened, how would we do it?
Yeah. I mean, how many loops would it take for you to get to a dark place? It's just like, I don't think I could stay as calm as those innkeepers for 10, revolutions as, I mean, in the end, they get to about like 20, right? Like 20 something.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
I remember reading an article about Groundhog Day where they talk about some theological like belief of like actually finding your peace and finding who you are. It can take like thousands of years. So like Bill Murray was stuck in Groundhog Day for thousands of years, but like this took like a very small chunk of that. And it's just like, I feel like I would hit the same point as them, as like, okay, I would probably break down around like 10, 12, but these guys just go right back into it. Like it's okay, we need to go forward. And I think that's why River is such a great movie to watch in this current climate of reality. We just have things coming up again and again and again in this country. I quoted it before when Makoto says crazy things are happening, but we're coping. Like, girl, same. Like, we just need to attack whatever comes up and then worry about the next thing. It's tiring for sure. But, sometimes you get that really sweet love story in there too, which I really liked. Makoto and what's his name? Taku.
Taku, yes.
They reminded me of a little bit of like Cory and Topanga, except Taku is going to go and study French cuisine, and Topanga didn't go to Yale because they're ridiculous. It's not like Yale is that far from Philadelphia.
You're really hung up on this. Like, I feel like there's some.
Cory and Topanga have been Ben's issue for a long time, is what I'm learning.
I'm just saying, why would you give up a great future like that for your partner when you're not even that far away? Even back then, when they didn't have Zoom, when they didn't have cell phones as prominently, like Philadelphia is not that far from Yale, where Cory stayed. I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
Because they wrote it in California and none of them know.
It's actually valid. Yeah, that is actually probably what happened.
Philadelphia and New Jersey seem like very far away places. Or, sorry, New Haven, Connecticut feel like very far away places.
Well, there's an Amtrak line that goes pretty much directly there. So, but I
love how this movie has Cabune as a location. You're stuck on fucking New Haven.
He's stuck on Philly, is what he is.
That is very true.
It's
which is fair.
World fucking champs, right?
You don't even like football.
Go Birds. I don't even like football.
You take the wins you can get. The Blackhawks won for like 3 years here in Chicago, and we're going to hold on to that as long as we can.
You had the Bulls for a little bit, and there was that little thing.
We did back in the 80s. That was okay. We're gonna wear those hats until they fall apart.
But Ansel, you did recently go to Philly, and you loved it.
I did. I had a really great time, and not to get lost on the Philly thing, but I will say, until I went there, I imagined Philly being some island off in the middle of fucking nowhere. It wasn't until I got there that I was like, oh, all this shit is like right over there. Okay. Yeah, Philly's not as isolated as we all imagine it to be.
No. We're not just out there floating on the Delaware River.
Unlike Kibune.
Yeah, on a different river.
Yeah.
Do we know what that river is, Matt?
I'm sure I can find the name of it, and I did not look up prior, so in the moment, I don't.
I just thought of that just now. Like, I'm wondering, if there's extra significance to the river itself.
There's the praying to the water god, and there's like that, again, the cultural relevance of how Japanese culture goes into that. I think that is way more important, but I'm looking.
It just seems to be that one river going through that part of Kyoto, so it's probably the Kibune River, yeah.
According to legend, a goddess traveled in a boat from Osaka all the way up the river into the mountains of North Kyoto.
Oh. So
it is imbued with some kind of magical power, maybe. Let's go with that. I think we can go with itself having a tradition of magic, but also Japanese culture and just being way more open to prayer in that way and worship in that way.
See, this is what happens when you get 3 Americans talking about a Japanese movie.
Yeah, right. We're probably missing a lot of context.
Oh yeah. My buddy Rob on the film commentary was the one that had all of like the notes taken on that. I'm color commentary. I'm fucking Tony Romo. Or no, Romo's
Randy
actually
Savage.
Yeah.
Present.
Jesus. I'm the Taz. No, if we're going in AEW terms, I'm the Taz.
You wish you were Taz.
Yeah, Bag Jones.
Oh, I knew wrestling talk was going to come up eventually.
Of course.
It has to. It's a requirement.
If we recast River with only AEW wrestlers, who would it be?
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. We don't have to do that, but we can do that later. Next time we're drinking, when we're going to do that.
There you go. Yeah. By the way, did you guys see the video of Leslie Jones at an AEW match recently?
Oh my God.
Yes.
So
absolutely
good.
Beautiful.
So good.
Lovely human being.
Hey, Ansel, did you see AEW superstar Mariah May tear down my outfit on the red carpet?
I did. I saw the video you posted.
I love that video so much.
That was very good. It's very good.
Party people, if you go to my Instagram, you will see Mariah May just days before her match with Timeless Tony Storm.
It was a very fun video.
Tearing me apart on the red carpet because I was wearing a Tony Storm t-shirt. It was so fun. Like before she like moved on, down, I mean, kayfabe, broken right now, but it's like before she moved on from our interview, she like gave me a wink and a smile. Like I was just like, thank you so much for that. I love being in on it,
Mm-hmm. I think that's the point. Isn't that the point?
I mean,
I think
that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, right.
Whether it's wrestling or movies or comics or whatever, when you're in on it, it makes it more fun, you know? So it's like, you could keep asking, why do they need to shoot a time machine in order to send it back to its regular time? Or you can just accept that that's how they're going to do it and
That's how it
enjoy the
works.
movie.
I did love how they Star Trek'd their way through that.
They really did.
We all got into a group and we went, okay, what do we all know? All right, well, we need this. What about that? Okay, what about this? And then we did it. And because everybody worked together and believed in each other and trusted, we solved the timey-wimey sci-fi nonsense.
The timey-wimey.
That's how it's done. That's how it's done.
Yes. So the last question that we should ask after all of these films, because I guess sometimes we forget to do so. Matt, Ansel, I think I know the answer to this already, but would you say that River is worth your time?
I would say that River is extremely worth your time. I don't know how else I could pitch it based on what I've said already, but I will once again reiterate, it was one of my favorite movies that came out in whatever year it released, and I will continue to rewatch it. This, again, is multiple rewatches for this podcast and other things, and every time something else tickles me in a way that becomes my favorite joke, and then I watch it again, and then something else is my favorite joke. I'm always switching between things. So I think this is a movie that will stand the test of time as long as it is seen, and it will continue to be talked about to spread the word like that. I think it's going to take a groundswell. It's going to take a while to do that, but it will continue to gain momentum instead of just fading into obscurity.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think this is one that's going to get better as time goes on, and I think people will continue to enjoy it. It's there's nothing about it that roots it so much in the now that it will lose its relevancy. It's going to stay evergreen going forward. And yeah, it was absolutely worth your time. I think, honestly, it's worth my time twice at least. I'm definitely going to watch this a second time as soon as I get an opportunity, because I'm going to have to show this to some people.
Oh, yeah. Likewise, I did watch it once initially to like go through all the research and everything that we do for the podcast, but then like I rewatched parts of it again just because I appreciated the cinematography, the storytelling. I mean, like that one moment when they're meeting for the first time, when they're like, okay, we're gonna have a meeting in this room, and then the camera circles around them and gets faster as time is running out in that loop. I'm just like, oh, what great visual language. And there's little bits of that I feel throughout the movie, whether it's the amount of snow that's on the ground during each thing, just so many details that it absolutely is worth your time, but worth your time again and again and again.
I actually meant to ask you guys about the snow thing. How did you feel about that? Because for me, I thought that the amount of snow was a very intentional choice, and that we were going to learn something about like, oh, well, some loops are different, or time has actually been progressing, just not for you, or something. I love that it was just like, no, it's just a production oopsie. We couldn't control how much snow was.
We were filming that day.
That's what outside looked like. I don't know.
Right. Well, it's just that charming touch though that y'all keep mentioning, and I think Ben like agreeing 100%. Like it's a chaotic film, but it's so composed. It is a hilarious film, but it's also super heartfelt. It takes itself never too seriously, but it also is such a sincere film. It just defies its own odds around every corner, continues to evolve, and then when all is said and done, I will use the word delightful again. I don't get to use that often. I'm sick of living in unprecedented fucking times.
Yes.
And this just feels nice, and it's good to feel nice.
Whimsy.
We all need a little bit of that. We could certainly use more of it right now, especially here in the country where we currently are. But party people, again, check out River on Prime Video, pick up the Blu-ray or DVD release, listen to Matt's commentary on it. But no matter how you do it, just watch this movie. So yeah, I think that's like the best thing that I can say about this. Please go watch this movie, support independent film. You know,
Please have watched this movie before you heard us give it all away.
yes. But all right. That does it for our review of River. God, it's such a good movie. You can find me on the internet. I'm at bsilverio20 on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and other stuff probably.
You can hit me at Donatobomb, DONATOBOMB, on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd.
You can find me at The Indecisionist on all of the meta properties, as well as Reddit and Blue Sky and YouTube and probably other places. You can also check out my other podcast For the Time Being and all the other projects I work on at indecisionist.com. Special thanks to April Moralba for our podcast art and to Marlon Longid of Marlon and the Shakes for our amazing theme song.
If you're still on a social media platform that uses hashtags, you can join the conversation by using the hashtag time2party. That's time2party.
As well as time the number 2 party. It's all spelled out thanks to Warwick.
Party people, we are going to keep the party going because River deserves it, but also this is the format of our podcast. Next week, we'll be coming at you with some edutainment, so maybe you might learn something thanks to River.
But not too much.
You know, we're very excited to have Matt Donato back next week. Tune in because, you know, you all need to tell him he's pretty.
Yeah, do that. But don't tell me about my commentary because I don't know if it's good.
We'll put a picture of his hair in the show notes so you can all.
There you go. Yeah, so you can
there
see
it is.
How pretty it looks right now out of the shower.
While you're admiring the angelic visage of Matt Donato, be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.
See, now I know the song.
There it is. You got there.
Yeah, we came there a little late.